I bought another 20-pound box of Lego, and it's either a great idea or a bad idea because I took a gamble on it. I saw some train parts. I'm really hoping for the best, but I probably spent a little too much on it. And yeah, that's how auctions are. So I'm excited to open it, so I'm going to open this up and just pour it out right now, and we're going to see what's inside. Okay, I'm going to change the angle here and dump it out.
So right off the bat, I sifted through it. Any parts I found that were unique or I thought belonged to a set, I put in their own individual bags. That way later on, if I want to try and complete that set, I'll already have a certain number of pieces in a bag that should belong to that set. So then I started pulling out pieces that are Lego, and I put them in one bin because there was a lot of parts that were Mega Blocks or junk, and I sorted that out. And then I just started sorting my pieces down. So I brought over all my sortation buckets. I'll leave links in the description to all the videos that will help you that I do in this video. So if you want more detailed information on them. But right now I'm just in the sorting phase. And then here are the other Legos I previously sorted out from the lot. And I sort them down right to the end.
Now everything's sorted. If you're curious about a sortation table, check out this video. It's all about my sortation table. I'll probably make another one like that soon. This lot had a couple pieces that were dirty and had this weird debris or material on it. I mean, it's pretty nasty. I really don't know what it is. I've seen stuff like this before, so I separated all these out. I'll wash these parts. The other parts here are relatively clean, so I don't see the need to wash all of them. I'm going to start piecing together sets now, and to do so, I separated out all of the parts that have decals on them, and I separated out my figures and other important pieces that I might need. So I'll start with these to figure out which sets I might have. I'll start with a priority set that I want to complete first, because sometimes sets have similar pieces. What? Never mind. Sometimes sets have similar pieces, so I want to start out with a set that I want to complete. So I know there's a train set in here. I'll prioritize that and make that my first wanted list. That way I'll find all the parts that I have in this collection for that, and I'll move on to the next set. I want to keep that train set, so I'll see what I have from it, and then I'll move on to the next set, and the next set, and the next set. So I'm going to start completing sets. I'll create wanted lists. I'll probably show some screenshots of that, and we'll go from there and see what happens.
I really wanted to show every step in this video, so here's how I'm washing these parts. Again, if you want to see a detailed video on this, check out the link in the description. It has the videos on my channel. But essentially, I just put water in here. I make sure that it's warm, not too hot, not too cold. I add some dish soap, and I swish everything around. This is a smaller bin, and it does have some big parts, which get annoying. So if you have a lot of parts, separate the big parts out and wash them separately. And then just add a little more soap. So I'm going to let this soak overnight, and then when it's done the next day, I strain it. I will then rinse these parts, and once I think they're clean enough, I'll put them in my salad spinner. I just run them through there, and it really removes a lot of excess water. And then I lay them out all on a towel, and they take about a day to dry. So I find this really works and gives me nice clean bricks to work with. This point's fun because it's now finally time to create wanted lists on Bricklink. So now I can start creating my sets. I usually find a part or two that's unique, sometimes a decal part. In this case, it was a red train window. So I found the glass, I then select the window it belongs to, and now I'll select the sets it's in. So once I'm on this page, I can scroll down to any of the sets that it came in red. I'll click through the train sets until I find the one that I believe is it. And I'm just going off of the other parts I have in the bag to really match it up. And then finally I found this and I realized, cool, that's the train set because I have that train door and other unique parts in there. So I'm going to select this set and we're going to create a wanted list. It's very easy to create a wanted list. Simply click the part out feature under wanted list. And then I just use the title of the set and the set number. I don't really change anything else on the board. I just simply type that in and then go to the next page. This is where you can verify the pieces. I don't delete anything on this. I just move right to the bottom. Sometimes if there's part variants at the bottom, it will show like 1 or 2 types. So sometimes I will, delete one of those, or it will automatically delete one of them for you. Then I create it, and now I can go to this wanted list and start finding parts to this set. This is the bag of parts I separated out that I thought belonged to this set during my sortation process. So now I dump that bag in front of me, I break all the parts down into color categories, I switch my wanted list over to be sorted by color, and then I just start checking off the parts I have in front of me. When I'm finished marking off all these parts you see in front of me here, I will then change the wanted list over to sort it based on item name or item number, and then I will find all the parts per each category. And that's quite simple based on how I sort the parts in the sortation process. So again, check out the sortation video to see different categories I have, or just start creating your own based on Bricklink. I always separate bricks, plates, bracket parts, antennas, bars, windows, doors, wheels. There's many different categories. You can put some into the same category or have multiple bins, but then it was very easy for me to go through and just find the parts I had in each category here. Unfortunately, I didn't have all the parts I thought I would for the train set. It was still missing quite a few. I'll show you my completed wanted list at the end. And right now I'm just running through other sets that I found unique parts for and that I think I have some of the set for. You'll have to make a call on yourself based on, do I want to complete a set or do I just want to part out some pieces? Is it worth it? Me, any train set I had here, I at least created a wanted list for them, especially if I don't own the set, because one day I would like to have the set. While sorting, I found a lot of parts to this set, a lot of them actually intact, so I put them in the bag, and being that a lot of the sets in this box I bought were older and this was newer, sometimes in that case it will be more complete. I had 2 out of the 3 figures. I found most of the stickers. I was only missing the ones on the curved slopes, but essentially I was very happy with this set. I went through the parts I had. I took apart the set, sorted it by color, and then marked off everything I had, and then I switched the list over to sort by item name, and then I pulled the parts out from my sorted bins for the set, and I ended up having a relatively complete set. I had, like I said, 2 out of the 3 figures, but I was missing the jetpack parts for one of the figures, and overall I'll be able to find the parts and buy the other figure to complete this set, which is awesome. Sometimes with any lot you may purchase, there might be some sealed bags. In this case, I found 2 sealed bags and I wanted to identify, what set did they belong to. I figured out they belonged to this set, so then I searched for the figures and found out I have all the figures except for the hairpiece for Emmett. But then there's a few ways you can do this. You can create a wanted list, or you can find the instructions to the set and find the parts you're missing in the other bags. It's kind of a decision you can make. I'll usually open them and make a wanted list because it's faster and easier, but the Lego instruction page works amazing, both for, parting sets together or building, any set you may want. They have instructions from the year 2000 to current. They might even have more than that, but it was nice for me to check this and see how many bags belonged in this set so I know what I need to look for. Now it's time to list some parts. If you click the part out feature under inventory, you can part out any set. The only thing I really edited here is this exclude button, and that will mark everything as deleted on my list page, and I'll have to unmark it if I want to list that piece. I'm doing that because I don't have a lot of parts to this set, but I want to see what it's like to quickly list, 5 to 10 parts that I know I have that belong to this set versus searching them and listing them. I keep working my way through this list, and any part I find that I want to list to my inventory, I unmark that delete button, and then I type a remark for it. If there's text above it saying you already have this part in your inventory, I don't type any remark. I just set the part on the table, and I'll go down bottom. When I'm done, I'll hit verify. It'll go to the next page, and that is when I'll take the parts and put them in the bins. Right here, it'll show me my remarks, so I put those parts in the bins, and then I hit upload, and I'm done. I'll do this before or after I part out a set, but I'll go to the set inventory, I'll scroll all the way to the bottom, and I'll find unique parts with stickers or decals. I will then list these one by one. There's no other good way to do this, but then you can list them and pull them out of that part bin, so it helps list those unique parts if you know you're never going to use them for a set. This is how you would list any part. This is just an example piece, but I just type in the remarks, the bin it goes in. I might put comments for decaled parts, looks great, because the sticker here was perfect. There weren't any imperfections. I'll type a price in there, and then I'm pretty much done. I just hit add to inventory, and it is uploaded then. Don't get overwhelmed if you have no idea what sets you're even looking at. The best thing to do is find your decal parts and start searching for pieces that have stickers on them, because sticker parts are most likely going to be in 1 or 2 sets. So I started that, I found that I have this set, and now I'm going to part it out because I know I don't have all those pieces. I simply click the part out feature under my inventory. I don't change much on this page. Again, I just hit this exclude button. That's very important because it marks everything as deleted. And that way, if I'm only listing 10 pieces out of the hundreds that are here, I can then just simply unselect that delete button so that it will upload that piece. So I quickly go through, I find the parts I have, I lay them on the table in front of me. If they don't have an inventory spot already on my store, I then quickly put a remark there to put them in a new bin, and I get them off my table, and I just continue to do so until I am done with the page. I know this is a lot of information, but don't worry, just take it one step at a time. This was multiple days of work to create all of this and list these parts and make the sets. But essentially here I'm just adding my remarks to then list these pieces. When I'm done with this page, I scroll to the bottom. I'll select verify. Now I'm on this page where it'll show me what parts need to be put in certain bins. I'll put all the parts away, and when the page is done, I'll simply upload these pieces, and now they'll be part of my inventory. So right here's the upload, and boom, now they're listed. So that's an easy way to list parts quickly to your inventory. In this lot of parts, there was actually a built fire truck, and when I looked up the part numbers, I found out it belonged to this fire station set. This fire truck was pretty nice, so I didn't want to take it apart or to part it out. I found the other 4 or 5 parts it was missing, and I wanted to list this just as an incomplete set as the complete fire truck with some figures for somebody's fire station or their city collection. And, so I'll do things like that if I find a partial of a set that, can act on its own, so a truck in this case. This was actually the only set in this entire box that was 100% complete. 100% complete to me means all the parts, all the figures, and any sticker pieces. This only had decal parts, but they were there. It had all the little figure pieces for the game. So this is how I'm going to list a complete set. I just put the quantity, the price, I write some comments in there, I mark the set as complete, and yeah, again, just putting a comment in there saying, okay, it has all the parts, no instructions, no box, and yada, yada, yada. The parts actually looked very new and good, so it's not like they were worn or played with too much, so I always make a note of that if it's really good condition. And then with any set, I just review the item and then add it to my inventory, and it's out there for sale. When I'm done completing sets, or I'm just simply tired of creating wanted lists and only having like 10 pieces to a set, then I put all these parts into bins or bags I have of the same type of parts. As you can tell, I'm not good at using one hand at really doing anything. And so then I take these brick parts, I put them in the bag I have of arch bricks, and I do this for all the pieces I have. I recently just started doing this. I have boxes where I just have one type of part in them. So I'll dump the parts from my sorted table into these. Occasionally I'll have a bag of parts here just because I didn't have a box for it. And likewise, a lot of parts that are smaller categories in bags. And finally, we have our wanted list. So this is under the wanted list feature. I was able to create 8 wanted lists. I probably could have created more. Technically, I did create a few more based on the 2 things I listed, but these are the sets that I'll find the pieces for. So the first wanted list was the train set. Again, I didn't have as many parts as I thought I would for this train, but that's okay. I'll find them hopefully or buy them over time. Then there was a train car that was an octane car. I didn't find the rest of the parts, just the parts that were built together I used to create this wanted list. So I'll go back and find parts for this most likely because I want to try and complete it. Likewise with this other, this cargo station. This is another train thing that I wanted to try and complete. So we'll see what happens with that. And then this one was actually the one that was the most successful in a way, other than the set that was complete. I mean, this is what a typical wanted list usually looks like when I'm doing lots. It's only a few parts I'm missing in a figure. Again, this is a similar one you might see if you're doing this often. And then this, I had pretty much the one plane to this set, but not the parts for the shuttle. The next one is a small polybag set, and 2 of these parts I have, they were just being washed. And then again, this is a cool crane set. I'll actually show you the set right now. I did this at the end, so I didn't take any video footage of me parting this out, but essentially I had a lot of the parts to this, so I want to try and complete it, and it was a pretty cool, unique set with a metal hook, which was my first time ever seeing one of those. So those are the wanted lists. I hope this was a helpful video. If you enjoyed it or it helped you, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to see more. Next week, I'm actually going to show you the best and most efficient ways of buying parts quickly and cheaply on Bricklink.